Hello everyone, and as some of you that have watched my videos may well know, I have recently returned from a trip to LEGOLAND Deutschland, which was fantastic. And the highlight of that trip was the visit to the Lego factory, where they make lots of bricks and they sell lots of bricks. Actually, I don't even know if they do make any bricks there, but the fact it's called the factory. You get a tour around, which you may or may not have seen in my previous video. And here is my haul of animals and parts that I got from that trip. I have the animals laid out on this tray, and as you can see, it's a bit of a varied collection. Probably the stars of the show are those two orcas there. So they sell these for €9.99 each. And as far as I know, they're not that common. I was quite happy with them. I also managed to get all these rays at the front. I don't know all the sets that these are from, but I do know that some of them are not so common. And apparently the ones without the prints are not common at all. There's these nice hammerhead sharks. We've got some seals, some dolphins in two different colours in crocodiles, two giraffes, two white lions, two normal lions, a polar bear. I don't know why I didn't pick up a second polar bear. I thought I did. Two young elephants and two young zebras. Now, some of these animals are actually friends animals, which may or may not have been a bit of a boo-boo, as they're not that expensive compared to if they were the normal Lego style figures. But they had what they had, and I picked up what I picked up, which included all these goats. So I might do a little project with these. Now, the majority of these animals are going to be for my future granddaughter's zoo, and it literally will be in the future, because depending on whether or not my son and his lovely partner want to put them on a shelf for her or put them away for the future, when her room changes as she gets a little bit older and a bit more interested, we'll have to wait and see. But this is just the start of the collection, and my idea was to buy animals through the years, just keep topping up the collection over time, and eventually she'll have a really nice collection of, well, hopefully valuable animals, not to mention the actual interest that these animals might well bring, and hopefully it will bring on the other Lego feelings that we all get. So here we have the receipt with the animals on it, and just to show you basically what they're costing. The orcas are €9.99 each. I thought they were €8, but okay, €9.99, not too bad. The rochen are, or rochen, however you say them, they are the rays. All those rays were €25. The giraffes were €7.99 each. The louver are the lions. They're a little bit more expensive, obviously, because that's just 4 of them for $27.96. Eisbar, I think that's the polar bear. Delphin, pretty obvious, dolphins, €2.50 each. Then we get to the high, and the highs are the sharks. I don't know whether I'm saying that right at all. Hey. Anyway, they're sharks. And as you can see, there's two prices there, €2.50 and €3. So I'm presuming the hammerhead sharks are a little bit more expensive at €3 each. Then we go down to zebras, €2.50 each. The roebuck are the seals at €2 each. The lanternfish at €2.50 each. The crocodiles at €3 each. And then we get to the small elephants, or city elephant Klein, at €3.99 each. I also bought for myself to ride on something with my, I wouldn't say custom minifigures, but my figures that are a little bit unusual and don't fit anywhere. So he will be riding with those, including the one I made in Liverpool of myself. So here is the girl version I brought for my granddaughter. That was nice for her room, just something little. And then I also bought this LED light, which I thought was rather cute and just something nice for the room. And lastly, a fridge magnet. I tend to pick up fridge magnets random places I go, so I thought that was quite nice. So this is the parts. I haven't emptied them all out just because it's going to make an almighty mess, but I've got one piece out so you can see what I got. Now, if you remember from my video. It was 100 grams per part per person. So, and that was €10. So they get you to pack them into these tiny yellow bags, which can make an awful mess on the floor sometimes because you're trying to scoot them into a tiny little opening. Then you're constantly trying to get to the scales, the one set of scales that the kids are always hanging around. It's no place for kids, I'll tell you. It really isn't. It should be AFOLs only. But anyway, I managed to bag myself, literally, a lot of bags of, I think, quite unusual Lego parts. I really went for landscaping, plant life, because I intend to build hills and trees and greenery, basically. So I know this stuff is expensive on Bricklink. I know it does come onto the pad wall, but again, it's expensive and it's hard to pack into those boxes because it's such strange shapes. So when I saw some of these, obviously I had to get 100 grams of everything I could. Now, some things are mixed in colours. That's just because I wasn't prepared to put every single thing I wanted into a separate bag. So some will be mixed. And I also went with what I thought I would need the most of. I do know I'll be going back. I bought a year's pass, and I should imagine that's not the last year's pass I buy. I literally bagged up as much as I could, and this is what I've got. So first of all, we've got this dark green tree. Fantastic. They're not common. Then also got this olive green tree. And is that a medium green? I don't know what type of green. So yeah, those two things are just packed into those bags. Then we've got these bushes, dark green bush and brown bush. I know both of those are quite uncommon, not too cheap. Then we've got the palm leaves, the medium green. Again, I'm calling it medium green. It might have a different name. We have this lime green. I didn't get too many of them. They're mixed in with these dark green ones, as you can see in the bags like that. Then we have the palm leaves. I have packed 3 bags, and we have the medium green. I have the green. I have the green. I have the slightly lighter green. I have the lime green, and then I have a full bag of the olive green. Yeah, very happy with them. All of these parts are pretty useful for any type of vegetation. So yeah, that's my first little lot. Next, I moved on to these strange leaves that I've not seen before. I really didn't know what to make of these, but I thought I'd better get them in case they're incredibly rare. And I'm sure I can make some sort of foliage bush tree with them. So yeah, I got a full bag of them along with this brown stem parts, which you can do so many different types of things with, and I haven't seen them on the pad wall at all, so I imagine they're quite unusual as well. Then we get into the very, very cool bits that I know people go crazy on, these fern pieces, and you can do so much with these. So I had to get a full bag of the medium green, a full bag of the dark green, and a mixture of the lime green and this grey colour, which I'm imagining I can use as sort of dyeing off leaves or something like that. So there's a bit of a mixture in there, not so many of the dark grey ones. I didn't know what I was going to do with them, so I just got a small handful. Then the bamboo pieces, and I've got a medium green and a light green mixed in. Then onto these foliage pieces, and here we have this colour which is they use in Stranger Things, sand green I believe it is. So I've got a mixture of them and the lime green. Then a mixture of this, I think it's dark orange, with this dark red foliage. So 2 different sizes of the orange and 1 of the red. So that was a mixed bag. Then a classic white bag, mixed 2 sizes. And then finally what I like to call the Jack in the Beanstalk parts. These bits that all join together to make up a huge long line, or well, you can do whatever you want with it, but I'm thinking of a Jack and the Beanstalk type scenario. Then we have some curios. I have seen this piece, medium sort of green, and they use them for large leaves, obviously that's what they are, a leaf. But I found them in these different colours as well, like a tan, a reddish brown, and this grey. So I thought I'd better pick up a mixed bag of them, and I'm sure they will come in useful for something at some time. And lastly, I found these amazing pearl pink, maybe? Yeah, pearl pink possibly. Fern piece, which could be quite useful in some scenario. This leaf element, olive green, and then this little stemmy 3-leaf part, that's in a dark red colour. So these were the unusual parts. I picked up a mixed bag of them. The printed pieces, I went along the wall and had a bag and thought, oh, I'll have a handful of them, I'll have a few of them, I'll have just a couple of them. And all my plan was to think what I might use in the future. If they were cool pieces, but I didn't think really there's any way I was going to use them, I picked up 1 or 2. Maybe like that bike piece. I just didn't think I'd need more than one. But as you can see, here's in 100 grams lot. So these pieces I'm sure will come in very useful. These log ends, lots of these control panels, keyboards, various cakes or biscuits, pizzas, a little pizza sign. So yeah, that's 100 gram. Oh, just found another one there, a clock. I'm sure a clock will be useful. That's 100 grams worth, which is €10. Then moving along to another 100 grams worth, I really went for it on these plank pieces. I just imagine boardwalks or lots of random things like that, you know, anything to do with natural wood type structures. I think they're used in the old fishing shack quite a lot, so they just seemed a must-have to me. Then I found this part which is in the new Mandalorian battle pack. You can use figures or anything really flying through the air. Because they're clear, they can be used for so many different types of things in mocks. So I got a handful of them. And then these little five round pieces. Then we have the shock tiles and the honeybee or the hive honeycomb piece, which will be quite useful for making hives. Lastly, this is the last 100 gram lot, and again there's more of those boardwalk tiles. There's some pizzas, control panels, they're like cassette pieces, workstation, workshop type sign, lots of the bee pieces, individual bees, some more of those 5 pieces, cakes and little pie slices or wedges there. That is my 3 bags of printed tiles and this other piece. Lastly, my tile collection that I got. So I went for the smaller pieces, and there's a right mixture there of colours, and that's 100 grams, that's another 100 grams, and that's another 100 grams. So we have obviously little wedges, we have these funny angled pieces, round tile, and more wedges in black and dark bluish grey, wedges in tan, very useful for Tatooine, and then these triangle pieces, which I've used quite a bit actually. This in white, what have I got them in? Yeah, light bluish grey, dark bluish grey, got brown corners, black triangle pieces, dark bluish grey, round pieces, quarter pieces. I nearly forgot, you actually get a free brick as you enter the Lego factory. So this one is 2024 brick, Fabrik. So that will be put into some little build that I have at some point. So that's a nice little memento when you actually enter the factory. I've actually looked these up online, and they do different ones every single year, obviously, or it's just got the year that's different in them, and sometimes the color of the brick is different. So it's quite nice every time you go to pick up another brick. It's a nice little memento that's something for, I wouldn't say something for nothing, but it feels like it's half free. So that is my entire haul of animals and pieces that I got at the Lego factory in Germany. I had a plan of action and it mostly went to plan, apart from when it didn't, but then by accident it actually did. So my plan was to buy as much decent foliage as I could. Mission accomplished. It was also to buy light parts. So I actually want quite a few slopes for mountains and things like that. I worked out that you can actually buy them cheaper from the MixABrix online on the lego.com. So it made no sense whatsoever to buy lots of slopes and drag them back on the Eurostar. What I did want was anything that I was going to get that are light and really made my 100 grams worthwhile. So those small tiles and small printed tiles, they made absolute sense. So that's what I ended up with in the end, the three parts: the foliage, the small tiles, and the printed tiles. I also had a budget in mind, and the budget was 400 euros. And the reason I wanted to spend at least 400 euros was because there was 20% off voucher when you enter with a 1 year pass. The 1 year pass is 100 euros. So to make it worthwhile, to me, it seemed like no brainer to spend 400 euros to get my money back. As I was shoveling all this stuff into bags, there were kids running around my feet. It was dripping hot day in there. Like I say, one set of scales. I had my huge shopping bag at my feet. The kids were looking at me like I was a complete loon. I was all right with that. I'm quite used to that now, so that didn't matter. But again, the plan kind of went out the window because I had no idea how much I was shoveling into these bags. In the end, I gave up weighing them. I just had a rough idea what 100 grams might be, and I thought I'll worry about the rest at the cashier's till. So I filled up the bags, and it seemed like I went round everywhere I could. I wanted other tree parts, you know, like limbs and branches, whatever they use to make them, tentacles, whatever you want to call them, but I couldn't find them. I did ask, but they said any tree parts were just the arches really and this foliage. So I got basically all I could in my plan. If we look at the receipt, what I've got here is a grand total of 471 euros and 7 pence, or 7 cents. And then I have, with my discount voucher, it goes down to 376 euros 86 cents, which I think was pretty good at the end of the day. Another tip for anyone going out there: I had already watched other YouTube videos of people doing walkthroughs in the factory, and obviously, like I've explained to you, it was 100 grams per bag per person. So that's fine if you want a particular part and 100 grams is enough. But what happens if you want a lot more? Well, you really can't do much about it. So I was quite worried about that because some of my bags I was just guessing the weights of. What I found out when I went to the cashier's till, they just literally plonked them on the scales and just said, yep. You can see that a lot of these are not 100 grams. So they didn't care. Now, I'm not saying if you put 200 grams in there, they would let you get away with that. But I think anything under 150 grams, they honestly would not care. They were just, they could see I was spending the money, and, you know, obviously a Lego builder, they had no problem with it. So it's a tip. Next time I will just fill it up to what I think is 110, 120, 130. You know, I'll push my luck a bit. But anyway, as you can see, there is the full receipt with all the different weights and the costs. So yeah, I hope this gives you a fair indication of what the Lego factory Germany is like and how to go about your shopping there for mock building, because it is a fantastic place. I've bought the year pass. I will be going back again probably next year now. That'll still be well within my year. And I will try to go in times when it's not school holidays and times when it's not so hot, because that place you just do sweat. So be prepared if you're going in July and August. Anyway, that's it for my Legoland haul. I hope you have got what you want out of this video, if you want to use it for your own educational purposes of visiting the Legoland factory in Germany. And I do hope you stick around to watch future videos of mine in the near future. Thanks very much, one and all. Catch you soon.